a much larger content as far as the relationship is concerned. As you know, in the last 4 years, the global economy has dealt with two major financial crises, both emanating from the developed world. The Indian economy has not been immune to the consequences of these crises. From an impressive average annual GDP growth of over 8% between 2004 and 2010, our growth declined to 6.5% in 2011-12 and could possibly, or is going to be slightly lower than 6% in the current fiscal year. But we are optimistic that in the next financial year, our financial year is from the 1st of April to 31st March the next year, that we are going to be doing much better. One thing I missed mentioning is about the agreements which were mentioned by some of the speakers earlier. The CEPA, the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. It's not really a Bollywood story, and I don't think they're rough edges, but there are substantive issues, but they're being addressed. And I must say that I've seen many major similar agreements discussed between Delhi and capitals abroad. And I can see the momentum with which this is moving. The number of meetings that have taken place, I mean, yes, there would be areas on a complex agreement like this, especially in democracies, you have to carry everyone with you, that we are finding common meeting ground with each subsequent phase of the meeting that we're taking, and all of us are very confident that it should happen by end of the year. And in fact, the bilateral investment promotion treaty that was to take, which was, but we were hoping to have got signed during Prime Minister Harper's visit, but did not happen. And the reason was basically that we have this treaty already, or similar treaties existing with a number of countries, and there have been some legal issues which have come up with some of the countries we have signed this agreement with. They are being addressed, and I see this happening also reasonably fast. So as I mentioned that we look at the coming financial year to be much better for us, and despite our domestic constraints and challenges, we are confident that our strong economic fundamentals, backed by sound policies, will enable us to return to a higher growth path. We have just embarked on a 12 5-year plan with the ambition to sustain an annual growth rate of 8%. We need rapid growth and a healthy economy to meet the aspirations of an increasingly young India and make our economic development more inclusive and more sustainable. Government of India has therefore taken steps to boost domestic and foreign investment, accelerate project implementation, and reform capital markets and the tax system. You would have seen a spate of reforms that have come in the past few months, and I can assure you you're going to see many more of them in the coming months. We have already cleared foreign direct investment in the multi-retail sector. It was a very difficult process politically, but the government was firm and we went through it. Those of you who have been following the news on the Indian sector, which you must be, after all, there was a vote of no confidence brought for the government in power, and yet wider counsel prevailed and it went through. Although, of course, one of the coalition partners broke away from the existing coalition in the process. More recently, we've had a gradual reduction of the subsidies which were given for diesel. It translates into extra income as far as the government is concerned. We can expect to see certain legislation brought about in terms of pension funds and the insurance sector, which would also translate into cooperation with Canadian businesses in this sector. Manufacturing is today just 16% of our GDP. This is one sector which has got my government's focus, and the intention is to take it to 25 to 26% by 2025. The intention is that today we are turning out at least 10 to 12 million young people from the education system who have to be given jobs. And if we have to produce 100 million jobs by 2025, we have to grow at a certain rate. So it's a process which has to happen. In order to meet the developmental aspirations of our people, we will require, as I said, enormous resources, reforms in policies and institutions, which is happening, and more will happen, new models of public-private partnership and community participation, and innovation-driven science and technology. While India's huge investable resources and large markets give us confidence, strength, and stability, we see international economic and technological partnerships as an integral part of our growth strategy. This is an important objective of our engagement in our region and across the world. In this context, we regard the Indian diaspora and the ICCC as vital partners and participants in India's social and economic development. The ICC has played an important role in forging closer relations between India and Canada for more than 3 decades. The Government of India was delighted to partner with ICCC in organizing PBD Canada in Toronto in 2011. There was a major highlight of the celebration of the Year of India in Canada. In recognition of its contributions towards the promotion of India-Canada ties, the Chamber was very deservedly conferred the prestigious Pravasi Bharatiya Samman Award in 2012 by the President of India. We are looking forward to further forging close ties with Canada, and especially with respect to the economic sector, to take it forward at a much greater pace, and it will be my endeavor during this tenure to ensure that we move at that pace, and in case there are any roadblocks that seem to be coming, as soon as I get to know of them, I'll make sure that these are conveyed to the appropriate authorities in my government so that they can be addressed right away. And life in Navy was much simpler, but I'd like to end with a Navy order which perhaps will take the India-Canada relationship on a similar process. So I'm going to say, full speed ahead, both engines, steer north.